I'm Olivia, 32 years old, and if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have told you I had it all. Seriously, the whole 9 yards, the life you see scrolling through your Facebook feed and think, God, she's got it figured out. That was me. Ben and I were high school sweethearts. A cliché, I know, but we were the good kind of cliché, the ones everyone rooted for. We got married at 24, bought a 3-bedroom house with a nice lawn in Maple Creek by 27, and had our daughter Sophie by 28. Our life was a rhythm, a comfortable, predictable beat. Weekly date nights at the Olive Garden, commoness, matching flannel pajamas for the Christmas card photo with Sophie, Ben's fantasy football draft party, every August. It was nice, stable, maybe a little too stable. Ben is a good man. He's an accountant, rock solid. He loves Sophie more than anything, and he never, ever, gave me a real reason to complain. He was the foundation of our perfect little life. But foundations aren't exciting, are they? They're just there, buried underground, doing their job. Things had gotten predictable. The conversations circled the same topics. His work, my part-time job at the local library, what Sophie did at preschool. The passion had cooled into a gentle, lukewarm companionship. It was fine. It worked. And then, Leo moved back to town. Now, I should probably mention Leo. He was my college boyfriend. The one before Ben got serious. We were fire. 2 years of intense, all-consuming, dramatic love. He was ambitious, a force of nature. He wanted to conquer the world, and he wanted me by his side. A power couple. I wasn't ready for that then. I wanted the quiet life. The life Ben offered. So things fell apart. He chased his career to the city, and I settled down in Maple Creek. When that friend request popped up on my phone one Tuesday night, my heart did a stupid little flutter. Leo Vance wants to be your friend. I accepted it without a second thought. I mean, we're all adults here, right? It's just Facebook. Ben was sitting next to me on the couch, half watching some sports documentary. Guess who just added me on Facebook? I said, trying to sound casual. Who? Leo Vance. Remember him? From college. Ben's eyes flickered from the TV to my phone. Just for a second. Oh, yeah, the marketing guy. That was it. That was all he said. But Leo was different. He wasn't like other exes. He wasn't toxic or bitter. He was perfect, respectful. He'd message me, always asking about Ben first. How's Ben doing? Tell him I said hi. Who does that? He'd comment on my family photos of me, Ben, and Sophie at the pumpkin patch. You guys look so happy, Liv. Truly. He even tried to be friends with Ben, sending him messages about getting together for a round of golf. At first, Ben tried to play along. He'd reply with a polite, non-committal, yeah, maybe sometime. But I started noticing things. Little things. I'd be scrolling through my phone at night and laugh at a funny meme Leo posted. I'd feel Ben's eyes on me from across the room. Not angry, just watching. I mentioned running into Leo at the grocery store. It was so funny. He was trying to figure out what kind of artisanal cheese to buy, I told Ben over dinner. Ben just stirred his pasta. He's around a lot, isn't he? It's a small town, Ben. I rolled my eyes. Another time, after Leo invited Ben to join his high-end fantasy football league, the kind with $1,000 buy-in, Ben declined. Later that night, he said, "Don't you think it's a little much? The constant effort?" "What effort?" I snapped, a little too defensively. "He's just being friendly." My God, you're so suspicious. Most guys would kill to have their wife's ex be this cool. It's not about him being cool, Ben said, his voice quiet. It's about boundaries, maybe? Boundaries. I just laughed. Seriously? You're threatened by someone who runs a marketing firm and is married to his job? He's not interested in drama, Ben. He's just a nice person. In my head, I was already building the case. My case. Ben was stable, predictable. He took care of Sophie. He paid the mortgage on time. He never gave me any real trouble. Leo was exciting, successful. He posted about business trips to Milan and charity galas downtown. And yeah, maybe I checked Leo's profile more than I should have. And maybe, just maybe, I'd catch myself comparing them. Comparing Ben's excitement over a new lawnmower to Leo's excitement over landing a multi-million-dollar account. But it was all in my head. Ben wasn't going anywhere, let's be real. Where would he even go? He was comfortable here. Settled. Sometimes, too settled, if you ask me. So, when he'd bring up his little concerns about Leo, I'd just shut him down with a simple reminder. You're lucky, you know. I'd tell him, a sweet little smile on my face. At least my ex wants to be friends with you. He'd just get this look on his face. The same tired look he had when I told him I'd invited Leo to our neighborhood barbecue next weekend. But whatever. If he wanted to be insecure about it, that was his problem. It's not like I was doing anything wrong. What I didn't realize then was that I was about to learn exactly how wrong I was. But isn't that how these stories always go? You think you're the one holding all the cards? Until the whole house comes crashing down. Things started getting weirder. In a good way. For me. Leo joined our Maple Creek neighborhood Facebook group. Suddenly, my posts asking for coffee shop recommendations or a good plumber would get an immediate, helpful comment from him. And then the accidental run-ins started happening more often. Oh my God, Olivia! Fancy seeing you here, he'd say, looking up from his laptop at the Starbucks I'd just started frequenting. The one near his office. Leo, what a coincidence. I'd reply, my heart doing that stupid little dance. We'd chat for a few minutes. He'd ask about Sophie. I'd ask about his latest project. It was all perfectly innocent. So innocent, in fact, that I'd make sure to tell Ben about it. Ran into Leo at Starbucks today, I'd say, unpacking groceries. Ben wouldn't even look up from sorting the mail. He'd just get this tight little smile on his face, the one that didn't reach his eyes. Leo kept sending Ben those golf invites. And Ben always had an excuse. I have to reseal the deck this weekend. Sophie has her dance recital. Avin, it's tax season, I'm swamped. It's like he's trying too hard, Ben said one night after another rejected invitation. We were watching TV, and my phone buzzed with a notification. It was Leo, liking an old photo of mine. Don't you think it's strange, how he's just everywhere now? I laughed. The kind of airy, dismissive laugh I was getting very good at. Oh my God, you are being so paranoid. He's just a social person. That's how he got to where he is. I gestured vaguely. By networking. Being friendly. I turned to him, putting on my most reasonable voice. Honestly, Ben, most guys would be thrilled their wife's ex was this determined to be friends. It shows there's no bad blood. But he wouldn't let it go. He started pointing things out, things I thought he didn't notice. You know, he said during our family movie night, right after I'd quickly replied to a text from Leo. You drop everything when he messages you. I do not. You do, he said calmly. We could be in the middle of a conversation, and you'll stop mid-sentence if your phone buzzes with his name. And then it was, you somehow managed to work him into every conversation we have. I scoffed. That's ridiculous. Is it? He challenged. This week alone, I've heard about Leo's promotion, Leo's new Tesla, Leo's charity work for the animal shelter, Leo's opinion on that new restaurant downtown. He took a breath. It's exhausting, Olivia. It was getting annoying, honestly, his constant nagging, so I said it, a thought that had been simmering just below the surface. Well, I'm sorry my ex actually did something with his life while you're still working the same job you got right out of college. The words hung in the air between us, ugly and sharp. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me, really looked at me. And for a second, I felt a pang of something. Guilt? But it passed. Because he was the one making me feel this way, pushing me. The real drama started a few weeks later. Leo posted on his Instagram story, a slick, professionally designed graphic for a big charity gala he was hosting for his company. At the bottom, in small text, it said he was looking for a +1, since his date had canceled. I knew what I was doing. Of course, I did. I replied to his story. Something harmless, playful. Sounds amazing. Wish I could help a friend out. The winky face was a nice touch, I thought. Apparently, Ben thought so too. I don't know how he saw it. Maybe he glanced at my phone. But that night, he confronted me. What was that, Olivia? What was what? I asked, playing dumb. The comment on Leo's story. About being his date. It was a joke, Ben. A joke. My God, you need to relax. I don't think it was a joke, he said, his voice dangerously low. I think you're disrespecting me. And our marriage. You do not see what you are doing, do you? He looked at me like I was some kind of puzzle he couldn't solve. An alien species. How would you feel? He asked, his voice pleading now. How would you feel if I was acting this way with my ex? I actually laughed out loud. A short, sharp, ugly sound. Please, I shot back. You mean Brenda? The one who got fat and sells essential oils on Facebook? The one whose biggest life achievement is getting her cat to wear a tiny hat? That's hardly the same thing as Leo. I paused, realizing what I'd said. He's successful, mature. He actually has his life together. I caught myself. But the damage was done. I saw it on his face. He just walked out of the room. But here's the thing he just couldn't understand. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Leo and I were just friends. So what if we had inside jokes? So what if I saved his funny Instagram posts to my phone? So what if I dressed up a little nicer? Did my hair? Put on actual makeup? When I knew I might run into him at the gym? Ben was just being insecure. And honestly, his jealousy was starting to make Leo look even better in comparison. You've got to understand. I told my best friend, Chloe, over wine a few nights later. Ben is making this huge deal out of absolutely nothing. Leo is literally just being a nice guy. He even invited Ben to his high-stakes fantasy league. It's not my fault Ben is too intimidated to accept. Chloe gave me this look. The same one I'd been getting from a lot of people lately. A sort of pitying confusion. Olivia, she said slowly, swirling her glass. Are you sure this is about Ben being insecure? Because, from where I'm sitting, I shut that down. Real quick. From where you're sitting, what? I'm married, aren't I? I chose Ben, didn't I? I took a large gulp of wine. If he can't handle me having a friendly relationship with my ex, that's his problem, not mine. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to those looks. I should have noticed how our mutual friends would get quiet whenever I'd bring up Leo's name. I should have seen the writing on the wall when Ben started staying late at work every night. When he started hitting the gym at 6 a.m. When he stopped asking for my opinion on things. But I was too busy proving I was right to realize I was about to lose everything. The next few months were like this weird, silent game of chicken. Ben retreated further and further into himself. He was working later. His body started changing from all the time at the gym. He was getting defined, toned. He barely reacted anymore when I'd mention Leo's name. It was like talking to a polite, handsome stranger who happened to live in my house. And Leo, he just kept showing up. He was relentless. He'd send Ben these long, rambling text messages about how he really wanted to build a real friendship, man to man. He'd invite both of us to every event he hosted or attended. A wine tasting, a gallery opening, a Sunday brunch. It was like he was trying to prove something, to be this perfect, unimpeachable gentleman. While Ben just got more and more distant. The less Ben reacted, the bolder I got. I started getting reckless on Facebook. I posted a Throwback Thursday picture from college. It was a photo of me and Leo, laughing, heads close together at some party. We looked amazing. Young, vibrant, full of potential. My caption was a masterpiece of plausible deniability. Look what I found. So young and crazy. Some friendships really do stand the test of time. Number TBT number college days. The likes and comments rolled in. You guys were the cutest couple. Total goals. Leo commented with a simple, good times, Liv. Good times. Ben? Radio silence. He didn't like it. He didn't comment. He didn't even mention it. It was like he hadn't seen it, but I knew he had. I knew he checked my profile. His silence was infuriating. It was a power move, and it was working. So I pushed harder. I started commenting on all of Leo's business updates on LinkedIn, of all places. So proud of you. Always knew you'd crush it. Incredible work, Leo. A true visionary. One night, I'd had enough of the silence. Ben had skipped another dinner party at a friend's house because he knew I had invited Leo. He claimed he had to work late, but I knew it was an excuse. When he finally got home around 10, I was waiting for him in the living room. I just don't get why you're being like this. I confronted him, my arms crossed. He looked tired. He loosened his tie. Like what, Olivia? Like this. Like a child. Leo is making all this effort to be your friend, and you're just rude. You're making me look bad. Ben just looked at me. There was a strange calm in his voice when he finally spoke. It was scarier than if he'd been yelling. Do you ever listen to yourself when you talk about him? What is that supposed to mean? Last week, he said, his voice flat, methodical. At dinner with your parents. You mentioned Leo 17 times. I counted. I rolled my eyes so hard I think I pulled a muscle. Oh my God, You're literally counting? That's not weird and controlling at all. You compare us, he continued, ignoring my sarcasm. That annoyingly calm voice never wavered. Constantly. My job. My clothes. My friends. You even mentioned once that his hands look stronger than mine. Did you think I'm blind? Or just stupid? I was cornered. So I did what I always did. I attacked. Maybe if you weren't so insecure, you wouldn't notice things like that. You changed your gym schedule to match his. We're friends. Friends work out together. You hide your phone screen when I walk into the room. Because you're paranoid. He just shook his head slowly. The look on his face wasn't anger. It was sadness. Deep, profound sadness. I saw your texts, Olivia. My stomach dropped. For a split second, pure panic. But I recovered. I twisted it. Oh, so now you're spying on me? Going through my phone? Real mature, Ben. This is exactly why Leo is so much more. I stopped myself. But it was too late. I saw it on his face. He'd heard the rest of the sentence anyway. The part I didn't say out loud. So much more of a man. His face, which had been so tired, suddenly went blank. All the emotion just drained out of it. So much more? What? His voice was barely a whisper. I should have shut up. I should have apologized. I should have done literally anything else. But I was angry. He had pushed me. He had spied on me. Successful? I taunted. Confident? Bigger? I should have stopped. He got up, grabbed his keys from the bowl by the door, and he walked out. I stood there, my heart pounding with adrenaline and rage, and I did the only thing I could think to do. I posted about it on Facebook. A vague, passive-aggressive status update. Some people just can't handle strong friendships between men and women. Their insecurity is not your responsibility. Leo liked it within minutes. Ben didn't come home that night. The next morning, my phone was buzzing. A text from my friend Chloe. Have you seen Ben's Instagram story? My hands were shaking as I opened the app. It was a picture. A picture taken from across a table at a diner. In the photo was a cup of coffee. And Leo, smiling. Ben had tagged him. The caption read, "Finally took this guy up on his offer. Good talk." They were having breakfast together. Just the two of them. A weird, cold panic seeped into my veins. This wasn't part of the game. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to be jealous and angry, not collaborating. I didn't know it then, but that breakfast would change everything. I was so busy trying to make my husband jealous, so focused on proving I could have both of them in my life, one for stability and one for excitement, that I didn't see the storm coming. And trust me, it was about to hit like a freight train. The annual neighborhood barbecue was supposed to be our thing, Ben's and mine. He was the grill master. Everyone raved about his burgers. I'd make my famous potato salad, the one with the secret ingredient. Sophie would run around with the other kids, her laughter mixing with the smell of charcoal and cut grass. It was the centerpiece of our perfect suburban life. But this year, everything was off. Ben was quiet, efficient. He manned the grill with a kind of detached focus, like an employee, not a host. The easy banter he usually had with the neighbors was gone. And then Michael showed up. Apparently, Ben had invited him. They were acting like best friends, all buddy-buddy, slapping each other on the back, talking about sports, about the market, about some new tech stock. It was bizarre. It made my skin crawl. They were a team, and I was on the outside. I drank my wine too fast. One glass, then two, then three. The more I watched them, the more agitated I became. Ben was laughing at one of Leo's jokes. Actually laughing. A real, genuine laugh. The kind I hadn't heard from him in months. After a few glasses, I felt bold. Someone in the circle of lawn chairs brought up how awkward it was running into their ex at the grocery store. That was my opening. I jumped in, my voice a little too loud. "Oh, that's why I just love how mature Leo and I are about everything," I announced to the group. The conversation lulled. I had their attention. Perfect. Like we're actually friends, you know? No drama. It's so refreshing. I turned and beamed at Leo. Right, Leo? The patio got weirdly quiet. Ben was staring into his beer bottle like it held the secrets of the universe. For the first time all day, Leo looked uncomfortable. That's when Ben said it. His voice was quiet, but in the sudden silence, everyone heard it. Every single word. Yeah, especially when you're still in love with them. The wine glass nearly slipped from my hand. The blood rushed to my head, hot and furious. Excuse me? I hissed. He lifted his head, and his eyes cold and clear locked on mine. You heard me, Olivia. We all see it. He gestured vaguely at our friends, our neighbors, who were now desperately trying to look anywhere but at us. Every post, every text, every accidental run-in. You're not subtle. Something in me snapped. The wine, the jealousy, the months of frustration, it all erupted. If he wanted to do this here, in front of everyone, then fine. Fine. Oh, you really want to go there? I stood up, my chair scraping against the stone patio. Fine. Let's go there. End one. My voice was shaking with rage. You want to know what everyone's actually seeing? They're seeing how Leo is bigger than you in every single way. A collective gasp went through the small crowd. I saw Chloe's eyes widen in horror. I didn't care. Want me to break it down for you, Ben? Let's start with the obvious. Salary? He makes triple what you do pushing papers around. House? Try a penthouse downtown while you're still dreaming about putting in a pool. Career? He built a company. You climb a corporate ladder. I was pacing now, a predator circling its prey. Ben just sat there, his face pale. Friends? I laughed. A bitter, ugly sound. Everyone actually enjoys his company. They're not just being polite. Ambition? He has dreams that are bigger than getting a good tea time on Saturday. I leaned in closer, my voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Should I keep going? Because, honey, I can go all night about how much bigger and better he is than you. Ben just sat there, this broken, defeated look on his face, and it made me even angrier. His weakness was disgusting. What's wrong? I taunted. Isn't this the honesty you wanted? Should I mention how much bigger his... Olivia, stop. Chloe tried to interrupt, reaching for my arm. I shook her off. No, let's lay it all out. Leo is bigger in every single way that matters. Confidence, success, and yeah, I looked directly at Ben, my eyes full of contempt. Other things too. Stop me if I'm lying, Ben. Oh wait, you can't. Because we all know it's true. The silence that followed was deafening. Our neighbor, Karen, was covering her young son's ears. Chloe was shaking her head, her face a mask of disappointment. Even Leo looked disgusted with me. Ben stood up, slowly, deliberately. He walked over to where Sophie was playing by the swing set, took her small hand in his, and started walking toward our house without a single look back. What? I called after his retreating back, my voice cracking. You wanted honesty. I'm just telling you what everyone's already thinking. At least Leo can handle the truth. The party died a very quick, very awkward death after that. As people gathered their things and left in hushed groups, I overheard the whispers. Can't believe she said that. Poor Ben. That was brutal. Whatever. They needed to hear the truth, too. Later that night, sitting alone in our too-quiet house, surrounded by the debris of a party and a marriage, I picked up my phone. My hands were still shaking. I texted Leo. Want to grab coffee? Need to talk to someone who understands. His response came back almost immediately, and it changed everything. I think we need to talk about boundaries. We met at our old spot, a 24-hour diner with cracked vinyl booths and watery coffee. The place we used to go during college to study, or to argue, or to celebrate. It felt like a lifetime ago. Leo looked different, tired. The charming, easy smile was gone. Before he could even start, I jumped in. The words tumbled out of me, a torrent of self-justification. Ben is being ridiculous, I began, leaning across the table. He pushed me to say those things. He's been so insecure, so controlling. He never understood me, not like you do. I reached for his hand across the sticky tabletop. Remember how good we were together, Leo? He pulled his hand back like I'd burned him. Olivia, stop. His voice was flat. Final. Just stop. You're married. You have a daughter. And you just humiliated your husband in front of your entire neighborhood. He deserved it, I insisted. He's the one who started it. No. Leo's voice was firm now, cutting me off. He didn't deserve any of that. And honestly, I feel partly responsible for this mess. I tried to laugh, to play it cool. What mess? We're just friends, right? His eyes met mine, and there was no warmth in them, only a weary sort of pity. Are we? Because friends don't do what you did tonight, Olivia. Friends don't constantly compare their husbands to their exes. Friends don't orchestrate accidental meetings or send flirty texts at 2 in the morning. I never. I've seen the way you look at me, he continued, steamrolling over my weak protest. The comments, the throwback photos, the constant, desperate need to prove something, and I let it go on because, I don't know, maybe I like the ego boost. It's flattering. He shook his head, looking down at his untouched coffee. But after seeing what you did to Ben tonight, what you're capable of, I can't be your backup plan. Or your ego boost. Not anymore. My chest felt tight. I couldn't breathe. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to fix your marriage. Or don't. But stop using me as an excuse to destroy someone who actually loves you. You don't understand, I pleaded, my voice thin. Ben and I, we're just not compatible anymore. He's not the one for me. The one for what? He shot back, his voice edged with steel. For you? The woman who publicly emasculated him for not being big enough? Do you even hear yourself? The diner suddenly felt too bright. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, exposing every flaw. So you're taking his side? I whispered, incredulous. Leo stood up, dropping a $20 bill on the table for his coffee. There are no sides here, Olivia. There's just a woman who can't appreciate what she has because she's too busy chasing a memory of what she thinks she lost. End of action. He paused at the door, turning back to look at me one last time. Try being happy with your marriage for a change, instead of destroying it to prove a point. And then he was gone. After that, everything started unraveling. Fast. Leo pulled back completely. He didn't unfriend me, but he left my frantic messages on read. He politely declined my invitations for lunch. Ben went full ghost mode. He moved into the guest room, and the only communication we had was through his lawyer. A week later, the divorce papers arrived. I tried to play the victim on Facebook. I posted passive-aggressive updates about people showing their true colors and knowing your worth. But the likes were drying up. The sympathetic comments were gone. My friend list was shrinking daily. Even Chloe, my supposed best friend, turned on me. She called me, her voice cold. You need help, Liv. Seriously. Everyone is just being so dramatic, I said, trying to sound breezy. Dramatic? Her voice rose. What you said at that barbecue, that wasn't just mean, it was cruel. It was one of the cruelest things I've ever witnessed. And now you're online acting like you're the one who was wronged. I just told the truth, I mumbled. The truth? She actually laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. The truth is you're still obsessed with your ex from a decade ago, and you just blew up your entire life to prove some weird, pathetic point. And for what? Leo doesn't want you, either. That hit hard, like a physical blow. But instead of admitting she was right, I doubled down. I told her she didn't understand. I hung up on her. I posted more throwback photos of me and Leo. I sent him more messages that went unanswered. I tried to run into him at his usual spots, but he had changed his routines. He was actively avoiding me. Meanwhile, this wasn't a game anymore. This wasn't me trying to provoke a reaction from Ben. This was real. The legal documents kept coming. Custody hearings. Division of assets. This was real, and I was losing everything. I thought I'd at least get the house, or full custody of Sophie, or, at the very least, decent child support. But karma, apparently, is a real thing. The judge took one look at our case and basically laughed me out of court. Turns out, those passive-aggressive Facebook posts were great evidence of emotional abuse. That little meltdown at the barbecue? Half the neighborhood wrote statements for Ben's lawyer. My friendship with Leo? The timestamps on those 2 a.m. texts and the replies to his Instagram stories didn't help my case for being a devoted wife and mother. Now, I'm stuck in this tiny 2-bedroom apartment above a laundromat that always smells like damp clothes and bleach. Ben got the house. He also got primary custody of Sophie. He proved he was the more stable parent. It wasn't hard. I get supervised weekends. Supervised. Like I'm some kind of threat to my own daughter. The child support I get barely covers groceries. Meanwhile, Ben is thriving. Absolutely. Unequivocally thriving. He got a huge promotion at his accounting firm, senior partner. He bought a brand new house in that beautiful new development by the good school district. And he started dating this gorgeous, serene yoga instructor named Jenna, who Sophie, of course, absolutely adores. Jenna makes the best chocolate chip pancakes, Mommy. Sophie told me last weekend during our supervised visit at the park, and she helps me with my math homework. She says Daddy is really good at numbers, too. Yeah. Twist that knife. Universe. Thanks. Leo keeps things polite. I see him sometimes at school drop-offs, since his nephew is in Sophie's class. There's this uncomfortable distance between us now, a chasm of unspoken things. He's dating some pharmaceutical rep who looks like a literal runway model. They do couples CrossFit or something equally nauseating. I heard through the grapevine, what's left of it, anyway, that he told a mutual friend, Olivia taught me an important lesson about respecting boundaries and not feeding into someone else's drama. Cool. Glad I could be a stepping stone on your path to personal growth, Leo. Everyone says I got exactly what I deserved. Chloe straight up told me, you chose chaos, Olivia. And you lost everything. My own mother has taken Ben's side. She's always talking about what a good father he is, and how lucky Sophie is to have a stable influence like Jenna in her life. Even my therapist, who I only started seeing because the court recommended it, keeps trying to get me to examine my patterns of behavior, or whatever. But here's the thing they don't understand. I pushed Ben to become better. All those comparisons to Leo, they motivated him. That blow up at the barbecue, it finally got him to stand up for himself. He found his spine. If he had just been this version of himself when we were together, confident, successful, actually standing up to me, I wouldn't have had to keep looking back. I wouldn't have been so bored. I wouldn't have needed the validation from Leo. It's his fault, really, for waiting so long to become the man I wanted him to be. The worst part, the absolute worst part, was seeing them together last week, at Sophie's parent-teacher conference. Ben and Jenna, looking like some perfect, curated Instagram couple. He's lost weight, got this sharp new haircut, and was wearing clothes that actually fit him properly. A tailored blazer, dark jeans. He looked bigger, not physically, but he took up more space in the world. He radiated a quiet confidence I'd never seen before. He didn't even seem nervous around me anymore, just indifferent. And Jenna, she smiled at me. A genuine, kind smile, like she wasn't threatened at all. Why would she be? Meanwhile, I'm still checking both of their profiles at 2 in the morning, watching their lives get better and better while I'm stuck in relationship purgatory. My last 3 dates ghosted me after looking me up online. Apparently, the barbecue story is now local legend in the Maple Creek Facebook groups. Great. So, yeah, that's how I ended up here. Single, practically homeless, and watching my ex-husband live the life I blew up, while my other ex won't even respond to my drunk texts. Everyone says I need to work on myself before I can move on, but they don't get it. I didn't lose Ben because I was still in love with Leo. I lost them both because they couldn't handle how honest I was. At least, that's what I tell myself. At night, alone in this apartment that smells like fabric softener, while Ben is living his best life and Leo is posting gym selfies with his new girlfriend. But sometimes, in those quiet, awful moments between 2 and 4 a.m., when I can't sleep, I wonder if maybe, just maybe, the problem was me, all along. Not that I'll ever admit that out loud.